Welcome, everyone. Yeah, I'm Gordon Milsom, Mayor of the City of West Kelowna, and thank you for joining us here today on this chilly morning. I want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Syilx Okanagan people who have resided here from time immemorial. We honor with gratitude and respect the Syilx Okanagan lands upon which we live, work, and play. I'm joined by Westside First Nation Chief Robert Louie, Peachland Mayor Patrick Van Missel, MLA for West Kelowna Macklin McCall, and MP for Okanagan Lake West, South Kelowna, Dan Albus. We will each share some words with you today. I'd also like to introduce Councillor Carol Zanon. Carol, in the City of West Kelowna. So we're gathered here today together as a united front to call on the government of British Columbia to take action and fulfill their obligation to provide adequate and effective policing services on the West Side. Since I was first elected mayor in 2018, I've been advocating to the province to stop the chronic underfunding of provincial policing services, and they have yet to take meaningful action. I and our council have had many meetings with the current and past ministers of public safety and Solicitor General over the past few years, and our advocacy seems to have fallen on deaf ears. Let's go back in time to set the stage for where we are today. Prior to the incorporation of the City of West Kelowna, the city was part of the Regional District of the Central Okanagan, and policing was provided for all of the Greater Westside by the province. On April 1st, 2009, the new District of West Kelowna entered into an agreement with the province for RCMP municipal policing. At that time, it was agreed that the officer contingent for the West Kelowna Municipal Force be established at 21 officers, and the number of officers for the provincial force be established at 20. The areas those 20 provincial officers policed included 2 for Big White, Joe Rich and Ellison, 4 for Peachland, and 14 for Westbank First Nation and a portion of the RDCO Electoral Area West. Provincial RCMP normally provide policing services in rural areas. Most of the Greater Westside is no longer rural, but very much urban. It was also agreed upon that policing service levels would be reviewed by the RCMP in order to update the core service levels required in each area. However, this rarely, if ever, happened. The West Kelowna Council at that time, so back in 2009, had concerns that the city's funding of policing on the West Side would remain fair, that the city would pay its fair share and not subsidize the province. This has proven to be a very valid concern. Since 2009, the population growth has been significant right across the Greater West Side. The City of West Kelowna's population was close to 29,500 in 2009, and today our population is over 40,000. Significant growth has also occurred for our neighbors Westbank First Nation and also Peachland, and there's been a huge amount of commercial development, especially on Westbank First Nations land. To meet the policing needs of our growing community, the City of West Kelowna has increased our RCMP police officers from 21 to 40, an increase of 19 members. Meanwhile, the province has increased their share of officers from 20 to only 21. That's just one additional member in 17 years. Obviously, the province has not increased the number of officers to keep up with the growth and demand for service, nor with the provincial government with the provincial government allowing the deregionalization or the splitting up of policing services in the Central Okanagan. It's become clear how much their under-resourcing is impacting policing on the West Side. The under-resourcing by the province affects the delivery of police services to West Kelowna and Peachland citizens, and also means that Westbank First Nation and the citizens in rural areas remain underserved. The province needs to step up and meet their obligations to public safety on the west side. Our local governments are meeting their policing responsibilities. The provincial government must do the same. This is very important as we consider an integrated detachment policing model going forward on the west side. Recent RCMP reports have indicated that the province needs to add 7 provincial police officers and 2 civilian support staff. The RCMP have provided a business case outlining the needs of to the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General. And while the province has acknowledged they are short officers on the west side, they have yet to commit to filling the gap. We continue to wait for Minister Krieger and Premier Eby to take action. It is clear we are not a priority and that the provincial government is willing to put public safety of our residents at risk. The people of Westside deserve more public safety, not less. Years of inaction by the province has created inequities in the delivery of policing services on the west side, with the local government subsidizing that gap both financially and with officers. We understand why Kelowna has chosen to separate their policing services from the rest of the central Okanagan, as they too are concerned about their citizens' safety, are not willing to subsidize the province anymore. However, we also understand that crime doesn't respect municipal boundaries. We see Kelowna experience a recent uptick in crime and vandalism in their downtown core. And what we see happening there can easily happen here as well. I want to be clear that we value and appreciate the work the RCMP does. This is about the RCMP not having the resources and officers they require to police the West Side area. The province has not held up their end of our policing agreement, and their refusal to take action and provide adequate and effective policing is going to put the public safety of our citizens at risk. I stand here with my colleagues from Westbank First Nation and from Peachland, and with the support of our fellow federal and provincial elected officials, to draw attention to the challenges we are facing in our policing resources due to provincial inaction. We stand here united, calling on Minister Krieger and Premier Eby to step up and fulfill their obligation to provide adequate and effective policing on the west side. Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Westbank First Nation Chief Robert Louie.
Well, Limlim, Mayor Milsom, thank you very much, honored dignitaries and those here that are taking the notes for our presentation. You're probably wondering why I'm here without a heavier coat. I've got hot coffee, so it makes life a little easier. So that's how it is. So
allowed to share.
It's decaf, so. Well, why hast skahalt? Why peace Naxil? Incha Iskwi Simu. That's my native Indian name, Simu. It means connected to the land in Okanagan Silks, and I'm the Ilmiham, the chief of the Westbank First Nation. I certainly look forward to working more collaboration with my colleagues, Mayor Milsom, Mayor Van Minsel, MLA McCall, and MP Dan Elvis. It is a good working unit, I believe. Just a little bit about Westbank, my community, and how we deal with situations like this and what we've negotiated with Canada. We are self-governing. We've been self-governing now 2003 with our land code, with lands, property, and that sort of thing, and full self-governance in 2005. We have an agreement with Canada. And through that agreement, Canada has a clear responsibility to ensure on our behalf that public safety of our people is in place. And that works in partnership with the province and the RCMP. And it includes necessary funding that must be provided for RCMP services for Westbank First Nation, our lands and our people. On the west side, public safety depends on strong partnerships. And very pleased that WFN, my community, West Kelowna, Peachland, and our policing partners do work very closely together to protect the safety and well-being of the residents and the visitors of our lands. So the strength of our community comes from these partnerships, and that's very, very important. So we must stand together and have standed together in matters like this. And we need the proper resources in place to support our overall community. That must be done at all times. We have made important progress, including the building more respective policing relationships with Indigenous peoples. And I'm pleased to say that I meet regularly with the RCMP every couple of months in our offices, and that goes without question. I have other meetings as well on matters of concern. We cannot, as a community, have our progress slide back. Adequate resources must be provided by the province. They haven't been. You've heard the statistics that Mayor Milsom has quite appropriately covered. Those are very clear statistics. We've been short-listed, cut back. That's not fair to our community. That's not fair for the people of these lands right now. As well, Canada's funding requirements, they have to stand up and step up. They have a responsibility to ensure that public safety is here in our communities. So this is very, very important. This issue is big. If our citizens are going to be properly protected, and they must be, every government that is responsible with both the province and Canada, they must stand up. They must provide the necessary funding. That is all that is needed as far as ensuring that we have the public safety. The partnerships that we have are strong. Our community is strong. Province, Canada, you both must step up to provide the necessary funding for our peoples and our lands. It's an honor to be a partner here, to work with you and the community. And may Colin Juten, great creator, look after you and your families. Good health to everyone. Right? Lim lim.
Better. Good morning, everyone. Welcome for coming out in this chilly morning. I was smart enough to wear a coat because I experienced this before. I would like to thank Mayor Milsom and Chief Louis, and I will echo all their sentiments. I will not repeat them because they're the same. We are more, as a PCN, we're also focused on the upcoming integration, the new model for policing, but will have a great effect to our town. As a smaller municipality, PCN relies on coordinated policing across the Westside and a regional approach that benefits our community and neighboring rural and First Nation communities. PCN currently contributes approximately 1.1 million annually towards RCMP services for our dedicated officers, and 4 of them. Nearly 10% of our budget. For a community of our size, any further increases create significant financial pressure. As RCMP reorganization and new infrastructure needs are considered for the West Kelowna, West Bank, First Nation and PCN area, it is critical that adequate provincial resources are in place to offset these costs and ensure municipalities are not left shouldering the financial burden of rural policing or regional restructuring. We will be in Victoria soon at the end of March and beginning of April for meetings with ministers, and this will be on a very important topic. And as far as the 7 provincial RCMP officers go that we don't have yet, they should already been here. And we will emphasize this with our ministers, and it's time they pay some attention to our region. Thank you. And I will now introduce our MLA, and he will be here quite soon because he's there. Macklin McLaw.
Good morning and thank you for being here. People deserve to understand what's actually happening here. West Kelowna is short 7 police officers today, and every one of those positions is the responsibility of the province. For roughly the past decade, the provincial RCMP contingent has been stuck at 2,602 officers. In that time, this government has not added a single new provincial policing position anywhere in British Columbia. The City of West Kelowna has continued to invest in policing. The province has not. And the consequences of that decision are now showing up on the ground. This is how public safety erodes, not suddenly, but quietly over years of delay and neglect. The real question is where public safety in British Columbia would be today if provincial policing had been strengthened at any point over the last 10 years. Thank you. And I will introduce Member of Parliament, Dan Albus.
The residents of our communities are frustrated. They're frustrated with property crime, with disorder, and they want their elected officials to be their voices. I'm very proud to be here with these leaders of our community who are standing up for our constituents. Our constituents want to see results, and you've heard it today from our local mayors and chief and MLA that both the Government of Canada and the Government of British Columbia have a responsibility to fund adequately the RCMP resources. And I think that it's important, as Mayor Milsom had said, that the RCMP are trying to bend over backwards to make sure that people can feel safe and that their files are investigated, but they need those resources. So I'm here in solidarity with our local elected officials, asking the province and the Government of Canada to do their part. Thank you.